Namaste, good evening, and a very warm welcome to all the viewers. Sai Baba is a very well known spiritual and world teacher who brings a universal message of love. His mission has spread across 120 countries. He has brought together a world that was rift with difficulties, hopelessness, discouragement, religious divisiveness. But his message of love to help us in our troubled and trying times has brought millions of people. And so many of them have been attracted to Sai Baba after hearing about his great love, which has brought comfort and peace to people of all faiths. And also, people have heard of his miraculous powers which support and protect people worldwide. So, today we have in our studio Leonardo P, born and raised in Argentina. He's a psychologist by profession. About 40 years ago, he came to know about Sathya Sai Baba, and since then, he has visited India numerous times and had amazing experiences in Argentina. And we have Dr. Ganesh Yadapalli as a part of our panel. He is a faculty at the University of Cincinnati Medical School, and we have Susan Sullivan. She was born and raised in Iowa, USA. She was a raised Catholic 26 years ago. She heard of Sathya Sai Baba through her younger brother. And since then, she visited India more than 36 times. So now she is a retired health insurance executive. Susan's husband is Michael Rakoff. He is a retired physician. So, welcome, namaste.
Yeah.
A very warm welcome to all of you. And
Thank you.
without further delay, I'm going to get started. And my first question is to Leonardo, that how are the teachings of Swami? I understand that you're a Westerner, born and raised in Argentina, South American, and then you have spent several years as a psychologist. So what was it in the Swami's teachings that drew you to Swami and brought this change onto you?
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure, Anjali, to be with you, to be in your program. It's an honor, actually. And well, I heard about Swami more than 45 years ago, but since I was 9 years old, I was looking for an answer about what is life, what is its reality, what is the purpose of our life, and how we can achieve it. So I was trying to find the answers in different paths, and I started to participate in a Raja Yoga organization, Sudadharma Mandalam, and I felt that many of their answers were really good. It makes sense. But then when I met Sai Baba and I started to read his books, heard his discourses and know about his teachings, I felt that I found all the answers. For me, the teachings of Sai Baba is the most perfect answer to all the spiritual questions that the human beings might have. It's a perfect spiritual practical spirituality, I call it, because it gives the right answers to what is this world, what is this reality, why are we alive, what has been the purpose of our life, what is karma, what is reincarnation, how can we achieve the goal of our lives. So when I found that in my heart, I felt that those were the answers I was looking for. They were so perfect, so clear, so simple, that my heart recognized them immediately. So I started to apply them in my life. And it changed the way I was treating patients, and the results with the treatments were outstanding. And then it changed my whole life, the view of life, the way I was thinking, feeling, and acting changed completely. And I feel that the spirituality is not something, and the material life is a different thing. They're all one. We have to live a spiritual life when we work, when we are with our family, the same way that we have our spiritual life when we meditate or sing bhajans, or all is one. We have to apply the human values in every aspect of our life. This is the real spirituality. We have to get rid of our bad qualities, of our anger, of our, lust, greed, jealousy. If we really work on changing those traits from our behavior, then we are living a spiritual life. Many people think that the spiritual life is when you go to the temple, or the Christians when they go to the church, or the Jewish when they go to the synagogue. Or, spiritual life is not rituals. It's not something that you do as you have to eat at lunch and then at dinner. It's not like that. Spiritual life is a way of thinking, of being. I mean, if I want to put it in words, it's a way of being more loving every moment of your life. Is to become every day a better person. Never, Swami says, help ever, hurt never. This is the summary of all the spiritual texts. If you apply this in your life, then you are living a spiritual life. So that's why when I found Sai Baba and I found his teachings, I found all the answers I was looking all my life. It's like that.
Thank you, Leonardo. And I know that both Susan, Dr. Ganesh, you are also devotees of Sai Baba. But let me just share with you that when I was a very small child, my parents took me to Sai Baba's ashram, and I mean he had
Ah,
actually come to visit, and my spiritual journey did start with the Sai Baba's bhajans. I was introduced to Sai Baba's bhajans when I was a very small child. Till date, I do sing his bhajans in
Very good.
so many gatherings. So yes, I have. I also have a deep connection, and my spiritual journey also started with Sathya Sai Baba. So yes, I can very much relate to all this. But um, I do have another question for you, Leonardo, and I know Dr. Ganesh, Susan, you also want to ask him, but please, I'm just like a little bit too excited today. So I would like to ask you this one question, Leonardo, that since I'm very much attached to the kirtans, the Sai Baba kirtans, which we used to attend
mhm.
as kids, can you tell me what role does the kirtan or spiritual chanting plays in the life of a spiritual aspirant?
Well, when you go to a doctor, according to your problem, the doctor gives different medicines. In the spiritual path, Sai Baba says that we have also to take different medicines. One is to sing bhajams, that means to repeat the name of God. It's very, very important. It's an essential part of our sadhana, our spiritual exercises, discipline, is to repeat the name of God. And one way of repeating the name of God is through kirtans, through bhajans, devotional songs. Because when you sing, you feel this connection with God. You are praising Him. You are, the more you feel Him more intensely. That's the real purpose of singing. Then he says we have to meditate. We have to do study circles to understand the spiritual teachings of all religions and his teachings more deeply, so we know how to apply them. We have to do service, because if we go to sing bhajans only or to meditate only, but we don't do service, the purpose of service is to eliminate our ego. And the only way to reduce our ego is when you help a human being in need, who is suffering, and you feel his pain as yours. Then you realize that your ego is not important. Sai Baba says that, and it is in the scriptures, that it's not by progeny, fame, wealth that we will attain immortality, only by sacrifice. And sacrifice, what we need to sacrifice is our immorality. He says to reach immortality, we have to sacrifice the immorality. So service is one very important tool. So if we sing bhajans, that means remember God, sing to Him, feel His presence, feel this connection when you sing to Him. If you then do service, if you meditate, if you start to study circles to understand better the spiritual teachings, you are taking the whole medicine and you will be healed. From this disease that we all have is the disease of ignorance. We believe that we are human beings. We believe that we are this body and this mind, when we are Atma, we are a soul that is inside this body. And this is our reality.
So, Dr. Ganesh, I know that you are actually one of the panelists for interviewing Leonardo, but is it okay if I can ask a question to you?
Oh, sure.
So my question to you is this, that yes, service is a very important aspect of Sai Baba's teachings, just like other spiritual teachers, they do put a lot of stress on service, and you are faculty in the medical division, medical department at the University of Cincinnati. How do you apply this aspect of service that Sai Baba teaches into your profession? How do you use that?
There is no uh, every opportunity, whatever that come across to you, whether you are in a whether you're at workplace, at home, or outside your house, that you do it with a perfection, with a love. Whatever you do, even when you look at it, when you talk to the people, when you do with the love and compassion, that is service. When you have that love, unconditional love in you, whatever you do, it becomes service activities. So when I see the patients, I don't see them as my duty. I see them a little bit more than that. If we
An
say, for
interview
example,
later.
you go to the restaurant, you've been served the food, but at this and you come home, and when you come home, your mother serves the food. There's a difference. The food is the same, that fills your stomach. But in addition to doing whatever they're doing, adding that one with a love is like icing on the cake. That gives the taste, that gives the real result of whatever you do. So whatever you do it with the unconditional love. It's a process. It's not something which we can implement it each and every minute of the day. You start say that one, okay, couple of hours a day, I'm going to strictly follow this, and over a period of time it could become like a 24 hours a day.
So, Susan, you are a retired health insurance executive. Now, insurance, as we know, whenever we think of insurance representatives, the only thing that comes to the mind of most people, oh, you know what, they are here to make money. But as a devotee of Sai Baba, how do you apply, or how have you applied his spiritual teachings as a health insurance executive?
Well, I was fortunate to have employees that worked for me. And I was in a very large company here in the U.S. And so I was able to make decisions that would benefit indirectly my people. And I thought it's really important that they see their leaders as kind, compassionate, not pushovers, but you can say the same thing and using different words, some soft and sweet, and some just like you've been hit over the head with a brick. And I in fact, when I left, one of my employees came up to me and he said to me, I always knew that I could count on you to do the right thing. And to me, that was such a wonderful, it was actually just a great compliment. And I was very flattered by that, even though, my ego was flattered by it. I think it's really important to look at, if you have the ability to look at your life and determine whether or not what you were doing in your 20s is still conducive and satisfying in your 40s. Now, for me, and you're right, the insurance companies are totally really focused on money, 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 money. I saw it from the inside out. And it got to the point for me that my spiritual life and my work life were not in sync. That and I got to the point where I was newly married to Michael, and he just said, well, quit. Well, I was like, well, that was a foreign concept. but I ultimately did, because it was just too difficult for me to be able to do that. Now, most people I don't think could be in that position to do, and so they have to find a way to be able to live with the job and not compromise their spiritual beliefs and their dharma.
So in a microcosmic world, yes, people can be uncomfortable with their jobs, they can be uncomfortable with their relationships, but at a macrocosmic level, at the moment, the world is going through a lot of turmoil, with the current war situation, whether you talk about Israel, Hamas, and then in Ukraine, people not only in the US, but in the entire world are experiencing feelings of anxiety and insecurity. So, are there any practical ways to deal with the challenges posed to all of us, due to terrorism and other challenges posed by this turbulent world? And this question is for, uh,
Leonardo.
yeah, it's for Leonardo.
Let me tell
Yes.
you.
Because there is a lot of turbulence in his
Yeah.
country also. How he is
Everywhere.
everywhere.
One day, Swami came by my side and looked at me and he said, corruption is like God, omnipresent. So, and also this turmoil, these wars are also eternal. In the history of humanity, I think there was not a time when there were no wars. Like 5,000 years ago, the great Mahabharata war. Then we had the First World War, the Second. Now we have these conflicts. It seems that this plane, this material plane, is not going to be easy. It's not going to be comfortable. That will help us to awaken, not to sit and enjoy it so calmly. Sai Baba said that it's not going to be a new system of education, of a social system, political system, economic system that will change the world. Only the inner transformation of every individual will change the world. So what we can do today, as is the best remedy, would be first to be better persons ourselves. If we contribute with the energy that we irradiate from ourselves to be more pure, more peaceful, then we're doing our part. And then pray. We have to pray a lot, because the more we pray, the more we will help to reduce this bad energy that creates all this terrorism, all these attacks, all these wars. So we cannot go and fight in Ukraine or in Israel, but we can, wherever we are, pray for peace. Every morning when I wake up, I meditate and I pray to Swami. Please, Swami, may the peace be soon in Middle East, in Ukraine, in all the African countries. May the whole world feel the brotherhood of man and the fatherhood of God. So I think if each one of us do that, if we pray with intensity, then we are doing our part to make this world a better place.
It's a beautiful response that you have given. But my next question is to all three of you. Talking of miracles, we understand love is supposed to be the greatest of all miracles. Yes, that's true. And all great spiritual leaders, they usually say that, when someone slaps you on one cheek, you should offer the other. But, sometimes, we are at this, with the current situation that is there in this world. Sometimes you offer them the other cheek and they don't mind slapping you on the other cheek as well. So what do you do in that?
I will tell you. Swami is very simple. We have discrimination, right? So Swami says, all is God. But if you're standing on a road and a wild elephant comes to you, you don't have to think, oh, he's God. You have to move. So the same thing, we have to have love in our heart, but discrimination in our relation with the other people. If we are with a person that is not good, that is a bad person, we may not feel angry against him, but we should not be with that person. We have, that's the meaning of satsang. That is one of the best ways to really accelerate our process of transformation. The ABC, be as far as possible from the bad people and be as close as possible with the good people. So that means that we have to have love in our hearts. We have to feel that everything is a manifestation of God. But there are some manifestations that are still very, very low, very ignorant, and we have to be away from them. We have to be careful. Always be careful, Sai Baba says. So using our intellect, our mind, our body, we need to know how to react in each situation. If we, Krishna came and told Arjuna to fight. He didn't tell him go to the middle of the battlefield and send love to the enemies. He said, take your bow and fight. This is your dharma. So that means that using our discrimination in each situation, we will know how we have to act. So in some situations, we have to develop our patience, our forbearance, our tolerance, and offer our cheek and against the other cheek. But in some other situations, we don't have to remain there. We have to really say, that's enough. If you don't want to change, I don't have to be here to support your anger. We have to put limits. So
Yes.
it's part of one of the tools that God gave us. He gave us a mind. He gave us a higher mind, the Buddhi, and we have to use it, and we have to read spiritual literature where He will guide us and help us how to deal in every situation. I remember one experience. This story is from Ramakrishna. One time he was crossing a river. I will make it very simple. He was crossing a river with some people. One of them were his disciple, and one of the people in the boat started to abuse Ramakrishna. And the disciple was very angry with that person, wanted to throw him away of the boat. When they reached the shore, Ramakrishna was unhappy with him. He said, why did you react like that? Next day, he went with another disciple. Another passenger started to abuse Ramakrishna. This disciple didn't react. When they reached the shore, Ramakrishna said, why didn't you defend me? So each one has to develop what he's lacking. One had to be more patient, the other should be more courageous. So this is the common sense that we need to develop.
So, my other question, and this is to all three of you, whosoever thinks that they can answer, we as Indians or Sanatanis living in the United States or in other parts of the world, we have to deal a lot with materialism, and we try to balance our material lives with at least something spiritual that we can do on a daily basis. But is there any particular message that Swami's teachings have for people like us who are striving to lead a spiritual life in this materialistic world?
If Ganesh and Susan allows me to give some short answer.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I think that flow, because you have so much experience, so many experience, amazing experience. I love to hear from you, Leonardo.
You are in the United States because your karma decided for you to be there. It's not your decision, even though you might think that it was your decision. So this is a test for you. This is a test put by God to send you to that country that is so materialistic, to see if you are able to live in that country and don't lose your spiritual heritage. So Sai Baba says that we must have our feet very firm on the ground, but our head very high in the sky. So you have to live there. There is no problem to be in a material world. You don't have to. Sai Baba, on the contrary, he says we don't need to go to the Himalayas to meditate there alone, because there we might be a saint, but then we come back to a city and we become a monster. If we are able to remain a saint in the city, then we are really a saint. That means you are in the United States because your test is to be there. Your karma put you there, and you have to remember your spiritual culture, your heritage, the Sanatana Dharma, and don't let the materialism eat your life. Become your real self. You are a spiritual being living in the United States, trying to live as dharmic as possible. If you pass this test, then you will reach the PhD of life.
I'd like to add one point to that, and that is all the years people spend accumulating through their 20s, their 30s, their 40s, even into their 50s. And then you get to be in old age and your children don't want your things. And you've got all of this house full of stuff that you've got to get rid of and nobody wants it. So, it's, you look at it and it's like, what a waste of money. So, I, for one, if I had it to do over again, I would have placed a much greater emphasis with my sons on not desiring so many things.
Absolutely.
Anjali, could I ask one question to
Please.
Leonardo? That Argentina is they're very new to this in Swami's teachings 40 years ago. Even now, some of them are new to it. How you were able to spread the Swami's message? I know you spread the message across in all South American countries, but in Argentina there were more than 80 centers of Sathya Sai Baba.
Yeah,
How you were able to do that?
Well, I will tell you, all Latin America is a very fertile soil for the spiritual seeds. We have centers in every country of Latin America, every country, Haiti, Cuba, and we almost have no Indian diaspora here. In the Sai centers, it's in Argentina, maybe you can find one person from Indian origin, but if you find him or her. So anyway, the human beings in these countries, they want to start their spiritual path. When they receive the teachings of Swami, they really embrace them. And it's like very old souls who are being sent to be born in Latin America. And just when they receive the teachings, they say, yes, yes, yes. And they start singing bhajans. At the beginning, everybody liked Indian bhajans. Now, there are countries like Mexico, for example, who have, I don't know, like 80 or 90 Sai centers, and all the bhajan sessions are in Spanish. And we created our own songs. But we read Swami's literature and spiritual literature. So I tell you that I feel that this was not so difficult. When all started in Argentina, we were under a dictatorship. 30,000 people were kidnapped and killed, more or less. And it was a very frightening time. And Swami told the first lady that went there, he told her, go and open a Sai center. And he said, don't worry, you will be protected. Many miracles will happen. And we never had a problem. Spiritual meetings were really difficult because the police could come and take everybody and kill everybody without any reason. Nothing happened. On the contrary, the center started to flourish everywhere. And in Argentina, even once I spoke in front of Swami and I told him that when the Prime Minister of India came to Argentina, the President of Argentina at that time, they met and they were going to speak about the international affairs, but the President of Argentina said, no, please, tell me about Sai Baba. I want to know about Sai Baba. And, this is the intensity of the knowledge of Swami in Argentina. We did it, spreading message everywhere, went to have public meetings in every nook and corner of Argentina and of all Latin America. Within 2 years, we had 108 public meetings in different countries in Latin America. And as I said the other day, some theaters were with full capacity, 2,000 people inside, and 500 people outside that couldn't go into the theater. We had to ask the Sai devotees to leave the theater so the non-devotees could come inside. And so many miracles. Once we had a public meeting in Mexico, 3,000 people came. And when we started outside in the sun, there was formed an aura of gold around the sun. And it appeared in all the newspapers of Mexico. And the 3,000 people went outside the theater to watch, to see this miracle, and then came back inside. And this was a sign of Swami that he was with us. I can tell you for hours about these divine leelas, divine experiences I experienced myself. I witnessed, it's amazing. And
Could you share one of that?
Sorry?
Could you share one of that?
Yes, I will tell you. I don't know if I told about this last time, but let me tell you this that came to my mind now. When all this started in Argentina, one friend wanted to go to another city, 800 kilometers away from Buenos Aires, to speak with a friend with whom they were in the spiritual path many, many years ago. He wanted to share with him about Swami, that the avatar came on to this planet, and tell him everything about this. You know, it's like 2,000 years ago, you met Jesus and you come back to your country, you wanted to tell everybody, hey, in Palestine there is a manifestation of God. So he went from Buenos Aires to Cordoba, to that city, met him, and he started to tell him everything about Sai Baba. And then after 1 hour of speaking, he showed him a picture of Sai Baba. And when his friend saw the picture, he became very angry. He said, why are you playing this joke to me? Why are you doing this? We were in the spiritual path together for so many years. I thought you liked me, you loved me. Why are you doing this to me? And when he was able to calm him down, he asked him, why are you like this? He said, why? Because you are playing a joke to me. Yesterday, the person that you showed me in the picture came to my house, spoke to me, shared mate. Mate is an infusion that we drink in Argentina with a straw. We pass from one person to the other. He said he shared mate with me. We were talking for more than 1 hour, and then he left. He never saw Swami or heard his name or saw his picture at all in his life, because that was the beginning of just a few number of people knew about Swami. Things like that happen everywhere. People that have dreams with him without even knowing about him. I can tell you a story. Do I have time?
Yes.
Absolutely.
I tell you this, and then I have to go because they're waiting for me. But let me tell you this. Once I spoke about Swami everywhere with everybody. I went to a company and I spoke to the owner of the company about Swami. There was a Cadbury, you know Cadbury? Cadbury, the chewing gum confectionery company.
Mm.
The company in Argentina was called Stani. And I spoke with this company about some business, because Swami made a big miracle in my life, and I stopped being a psychologist and became the representative of animated characters. But it's another miracle that I will share another time. Anyway, I spoke with this person about Swami. The two daughters of this person were working with him, and they heard about Swami also. One day, one of these daughters called me, and she said, Leonardo, when are you going back to India? And I said, next April. She asked me, can I join and go with you? I said, of course you can. The next day, her sister called me and she said, I learned that my sister is going with you to India. Can I join? I said, of course you can. The next day, the son of the second daughter, when he woke up, went to speak with her mom and told her, in the middle of the night, a person appeared in my room. I was very scared. He told me about my life, and then he said he was going to help me, and then he disappeared in the thin air. And mommy, it was not a dream. I saw him. I was fully awake. And when he described that person with the halo of hair, the orange robe, it was Sai Baba. He never saw a picture of Swami. In the house never was a picture of Swami. And at that time, also was at the beginning of the Sai Organization. Very few people knew about Swami in Argentina. We went to India. And I told them that Swami, when he walks between the people, usually he makes vibhuti, materialized vibhuti. First day, nothing. Second day, nothing. Third day, nothing. The third day, they came both to my room and they said, you cheated us. It was not true. You told us things that are not real. Why are we here? I told them, be patient, be patient. Next day, Swami called us for an interview. I thought, well, that's it. Because always in the interview, Swami materialized many things, especially vibhuti for the ladies. First interview in the history of the avatar that he didn't materialize anything at all. I was thinking during the interview, please, Swami, do something, nothing. But suddenly Swami looked at one of the sisters and told her, you want to have child, right? She said, yes. And you cannot. She said, yes, I cannot. And he said, don't worry, I will help you. And then he looked at the other daughter, her sister, and put his hand over her head and told her, I will help you also. That's it. They didn't come to my room in the night. I thought something happened here. Next morning, when Swami gave darshan, he went by their side, stopped in front of them, materialized a locket for the son of the lady to whom he appeared. He went away, came back, moved his hand and materialized vibhuti for them. And they both saw something that usually we don't see, little stars of light behind his hand, under his hand. Well, next day, the last day of their stay in the ashram, Swami came in front of them, looked at them, and materialized a plum. Plum, you know what is it? And threw it to them. And the plum, instead of doing this circle, is physics, you know, it went straight and then 90 degrees to their hands. And they took it, and Swami said, eat it. Till today, they are remorse that they didn't keep the seed. Anyway, they came back to Argentina, and they told me why they went to Argentina. The first lady couldn't have children. She did all the treatments in Argentina and the United States. It was clinically impossible for her to have children. After Swami told her that he was going to help, she has 2 children. The other daughter, the other sister, had a neurological problem for which she had to take pills every day of her life. Since Swami put his hand on her head, no more pills, she was completely cured. They both, the company is very well known in Argentina, they both were invited to one of the most important TV programs of Argentina on the main, the prime time in Argentina, on free TV, and they spoke about their experience with Swami for half an hour, and I think more than 1 million people watched that program.
Wow.
That is how Swami spread his name and fame and in our countries and all over the world. This is happening all over the world.
I think these are very, very beautiful stories and very, very inspiring. It helps people to increase their faith, to increase their belief in truth, in dharma. So thank you so much for sharing. And I am very much conscious of the time because I know that,
Yes.
you have taken time out to come and take this interview. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much, Leonardo. Thank you so much, Dr. Ganesh. Thank you so much, Susan.
Let's excuse me for this short time, but I'm more than willing to meet with you and share many, many more miracles.
Absolutely.
We this is like one of the one of the sessions, and we will be continuing the series. So we are definitely looking for a lot more. And I would, before I end the session, I think the best way to end is I'd like to just sing 2-3 lines of the first bhajan that I learned when I was a little child, and when I had gone to attend Sathya Sai Baba's bhajans. So this particular bhajan that I remember was on Rama. So, dear audience, this is for all of you, and just brings back old memories, very, very beautiful memories. And it's dedicated to Swami and dedicated to Lord Sri Ram. The lines are Jai Jai Rama, Janaki Rama, and please feel free to join me. Jai Jai Rama, Janaki Rama, Jai Jai Rama, Janaki Rama, Dasharath Nandana Raja Rama, Dasharath Nandana Raja Rama, Janaki Jeevan Godanda Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Janaki Rama.
Beautiful. Wow.
Very nice.
Thank
Very
you.
nice.
Until next time, thank you so much for being a part of this.
Yes.
Thank you so
Namaskar,
much.
namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sai Ram.
Bye.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.